This article is in the BBC, which is kind of ironic, really, that they put this in the BBC, but I thought that I would mention it anyway and talk about it because it is something which I think is obviously something that a lot of people have known probably for a long time, and that is that less than half of Generation Z watch broadcast TV. And this has come out on the 31st of July, and it says for the first time less than half of 16 to 24 year olds are now watching traditional TV live and catch up, which is interesting. They're not even watching it on catch up. On television set at home each week, just 48% of young adults tuned in during an average week last year, compared to 76% just 5 years before, according to Ofcom's annual Media Nations report. They watch traditional TV for 33 minutes a day, down 16% year on year. But it's not just Gen Zs. The age group spent 3 times as long, 1 hour 33 minutes, watching video sharing platforms such as TikTok and YouTube, which is understandable because the amount of content on TikTok and YouTube now is very popular platforms. Kind of ironic if you're watching this on YouTube. But anyway, I'm not going to get into the Freudian part of it. Children between the ages of 4 and 15 are also switching off, with only 55% watching traditional TV each week last year, compared to 81% in 2018. But there's also been a decline in middle-aged viewers, dropping from 89% to 84%, and a 5% drop between those of 65 and 75. Over 75s slightly increased their traditional viewing, up 1% from last year. But overall figures declined by 6%, although that was a slower fall than 2022 when it was 12%. Now it goes on to say that radio is much more successful and is actually going up. I would say that a lot of this is because of things like Netflix and Amazon. You know, they're creating good content. If you look at things like the Nielsen chart, where they rank the top downloaded programs, most of them are Netflix, with Amazon thrown in there a couple of times. You know, these are the big hitters these days. You know, terrestrial TV, if you want to call it that, is really slipping. It's slipping a huge amount, and that's partly because the content isn't there. You know, a lot of the content now is repeats. A lot of the new content isn't really that good, or isn't aimed at the right people, shall we say, or aimed at the right age groups. And also, you know, there's been these reports that say that a lot of the younger people now have a shorter attention span. So rather than, you know, watching a long program, they'll tend to go on TikTok or Netflix, or watch a shorter program, or watch TikTok and YouTube where they watch the shorts and things like this. So, you know, it's a lot of different factors involved. You know, there's a whole plethora of ways to entertain yourselves these days, rather than just broadcast TV. And it means that the BBC and ITV and all of the others in the UK are going to have to work around it. They're going to have to find ways to survive, basically. We've heard in the past that ITV's ad revenue is dropping because obviously there are less people watching shows and stuff like that. The BBC is struggling to save money and things like that, has to cut costs. And I would just wonder personally whether it's going to come a day, not soon, but maybe in the distant future, where terrestrial TV, live TV, will cease to exist, and we're watching all of our stuff through Netflix or YouTube or whatever it might be. I think that's going to be the way forward. Let me know what you think. Have your TV, your terrestrial TV, your TV at home, BBC, ITV, has that dropped recently? Over the last couple of years, have you watched less of that in favour of Netflix or YouTube or something like that? It'd be interesting to get your views on this, because certainly I don't watch very much terrestrial TV at all now. Very little. In fact, I've been watching the Olympics, and that's probably the most I've watched BBC One in about 10 years. So it's very, very difficult to see a way out for the big 5 channels. But let me know your thoughts down on this. I'd love to hear your ideas. And don't forget to subscribe for more TV news, views and reviews and various things like that.